So when it comes to Mrs. Candace Owens, we have to have a conversation about what's going on with her, what's real, what's not real, why is she so popular. According to Candace Owens, as many people know, she has put out on Twitter and social media that the Macron administration, she has credible inside information that the Macron administration over in France, in Francais, they want her dead. They've already paid an alleged, hit squad to take her out. And there are a lot of people that believe Candace Owens. There are a lot of people that don't believe Candace Owens. And we have to break down some things that have transpired over the past few months, including the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and why this alleged assassination plot cannot be taken lightly. And because we live in a world where there are so many lies being told us and rammed down our throats every single day, perhaps she's telling the truth. Like, Candace Owens is just as credible, if not more credible, than our government. She is just as credible, if not more credible, than Kash Patel and the FBI with that bogus story they told us about what really happened to Charlie Kirk. So why don't we start with the Charlie Kirk situation? So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about the Charlie Kirk assassination because there have literally been at least 10, 15 million videos made about it already. Every YouTuber and their mama have talked about it. If you're smart, you know that Tyler Robinson is the patsy. He's the fall guy. He simply just didn't have the sophistication or intelligence to pull something off like this by himself. And we know that Charlie Kirk was having a split with Israel. One of his last, statements about Israel: Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. And a lot of, Israel glazers, they're saying, oh, Charlie Kirk was still cool with Israel. He was still, on board with, Netanyahu and what was going on with the Gaza conflict. And we all know that was a total lie. The round that they say took out Charlie Kirk did not take him out. He was not hit with a 30-06. That's a picture of a hunter with a dead moose that he killed. And just look at the size difference between him and that moose. And the weight of the average moose is near 1,000 pounds. A 30-06 round would have obliterated Charlie Kirk's neck. Obliterated. It would have been way nastier of a scene. So if you're smart, you know that assassination narrative is false. The way Erica Kirk's been acting, everybody's talking about, oh, you got to respect the fact that she's a grieving widow. You don't understand what she's going through. The way she was all hugging on J.D. Vance like that. She just not behaving like you would expect a woman to behave who lost her husband in front of the whole world in broad daylight. They took Charlie Kirk in broad daylight. The people that wanted him dead, they didn't just take him out in broad daylight because they wanted him. They wanted to shock the world, and they did. And Candace Owens has a history with Charlie Kirk. They worked together at TPUSA. They were friends. And Candace Owens, willing to do research and to dig as deep as she can as to what happened to her friend. It's you got to applaud that, man. To me, Candace Owens cares more about what happened to Charlie Kirk than Erica Kirk. And Candace Owens got a husband and kids. And Erica Kirk had a husband and kids. But, we don't know what's real and what's fake. It's just so many holes to the official narrative. They silenced several people that wanted to come forward and talk about what they witnessed at the TPUSA event where Charlie Kirk lost his life.
I was standing from probably the third row in the bottom. I saw hit, I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had blood coming from the left side of his neck down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off. Get off me! Get off me!
See what I'm saying? Like that young man could have had some valuable information that could have helped the authorities get to the bottom of what actually happened. Not saying that he had the smoking gun. He witnessed something that was going to solve the case, but we know Charlie Kirk's murder was a lot more sophisticated than what they told us. And then we remember the fallout with Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire, and how Candace Owens was going against what was happening with Gaza and Israel. Ben Shapiro didn't like it. The other half of Daily Wire, Jeremy Boren, didn't like it. And that's when Candace Owens really started taking off with her podcast, apart from the Daily Wire. And now she's the #1 podcast in the world. Some people believe that she is using Charlie Kirk's death to, capitalize for clicks and views. But Candace Owens was his friend, and there's no denying that. This is the same government that tells us that if you take a certain vaccine, you won't get sick. You remember when Anthony Fauci, you don't need to wear a mask. A mask is not going to protect you.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet.
A few moments later.
Please wear a mask.
See what I'm saying? We went from you don't need to wear a mask to wear a mask. Then you got to get the vaccine. A few years ago, under the Biden administration, when we had what was called COVID tyranny, when they were doing the lockdowns, you could not go into certain restaurants. You could not go into certain stores for a virus that was 99.5% survivable if you had a halfway healthy immune system, right? God knows how many people actually passed away or are dealing with permanent medical ramifications for taking that juice, right? The sitting president, as of right now, Donald John Trump, is on record saying that the Epstein files were a hoax. He did not want those files released. Why? Why didn't the president want those files released? Right? And of course, if the files implicated Donald Trump, the Democrats would have been on this years ago to keep him from running in 2024. Right? Even probably 2020. Right? Even probably 2016 when they realized that he was going to win the nomination. So it wasn't Donald Trump that was implicated. It was other powerful people that were implicated. And we know Jeffrey Epstein did not take his own life. Everybody knows that. And then Candace Owens did some excellent investigative journalism on the Kamala Harris family lineage. Kamala Harris claiming that she's a black woman. That's Kamala Harris in the lower right hand corner of your screen. That's her Indian family. Red dot Indians. There is no black in Kamala Harris like that. Kamala Harris ain't no black woman, and that's okay. I'm obviously a conservative, but nobody would have been mad if Kamala Harris just claimed to be an Indian, but she claimed she was black. And when people challenged her about it, she got upset.
Kamala Harris is not African American. Her parents were immigrants from India and Jamaica, and she was raised in Canada, not the United States. And it said, fact.
Kamala Harris ain't no black woman. Her daddy is Indian and her mama Asian. She ain't got a nigga in her.
This country still has such a limited view of what it means for a person to be young and smart and black.
The problem with her being black is Professor Harris says he's Caucasian, mixed Irish and Hindu. He doesn't have any black ancestors, but his Irish ancestors in Jamaica.
You do not have to fit into somebody's limited perspective on what it means to be young, gifted, and black.
Mm.
So if mama is on the birth certificate listed as a Caucasian, daddy says he's a Caucasian Hindu and has no black ancestors, how did she get to be black?
So what do you say to the people questioning the legitimacy of your blackness?
I think they don't understand who black people are.
Mm.
We don't understand who black people are? Really? Says the so-called black woman who washes their collard greens in a bathtub. I've been black for 41 years now. I'm actually recording this video on my birthday, Thanksgiving Day. Okay? I done ate plenty of collard greens in my life, bro. Everybody knows that black people, we grew up eating soul food. That's one of the staples of soul food. We ain't never washed no collard greens in no bathtub, bro.
I am not lying to you that I would make so many greens that I'd need to wash them in the bathtub. I'm telling you the truth.
Like I said, Candace Owens did a wonderful job exposing Kamala Harris for being a fraud. She's not black. Everybody knows it. If you still think Kamala Harris is black, I got a bridge to tell you from Savannah, Georgia to Timbuktu. Okay. Last but not least, we got to go over this current battle that Candace Owens is going through. The Macrons. That's the primary reason why I was inspired to do this video, because allegedly, according to Candace Owens, they have a hit out on her. I don't have a whole lot of information beyond what Candace Owens and this guy named Xavier Poussard have put out. And Candace Owens didn't just pull this, conspiracy out of thin air that Brigitte was born Jean Trogneau or whatever. That's a chocolate company over there in Europe. But I don't have a whole lot more information to discuss. But like I said, in a world full of lies, I mean, why wouldn't this be true? Why would a man that's 25 years younger than this old woman be with her? Now, there is a lawsuit that has been filed on behalf of the Macrons in the state of Delaware, and they are stating that they're going to offer scientific evidence to the U.S. court to prove Brigitte is a woman, lawyer says. And this was back in September of this fall, earlier this year, a couple of months ago. So the Brigitte Macron and he or she, whatever, I don't know what to believe. They filed a lawsuit against Candace Owens. Allegedly, they have a hit out on Candace Owens. And Emmanuel Macron, he looks like a guy that could get a much younger, better looking woman that can actually give him kids. Candace Owens tweeted a few days ago, "We cannot live in a world where governments collude to protect Jeffrey Epstein and to murder Charlie Kirk. This does not work. We elect rulers who stay silent or choose to look the other way when children are being abused because of money or cowardice. This no longer works." And I agree with her 1,000,000%. We live in a world where people are assassinated for speaking truth. We live in a world where people are murdered because they know too much or they're willing to call stuff out. And Candace Owens is one of those people that's willing to call stuff out because she got FU money. That is a picture of Xavier Poussard, the French national who brought this story to light. I don't know how Candace Owens found out about him, but she did. That's just what she does. And he's had death threats on his life. He's got a book out called Becoming Brigitte. You can go look it up on Amazon right now. That is a side-by-side portrait of Brigitte Macron and her youngest daughter. If you look hard enough, there are a couple of, facial similarities. I guess the cheekbones are kind of similarly shaped. The nose is kind of similar, right? Brigitte Macron could really be a woman, but Brigitte Macron could actually be a man. We don't know that. And if this is his or her daughter, the question is, did Brigitte Macron ejaculate sperm into a woman to create this daughter? Or did Brigitte Macron carry this baby in her womb and push the baby out? We don't know. Because like I said, we live in a world with so many lies. I just showed you several lies that our government and government officials have told us, and there's plenty more. I'm going to just say this right here, and that's going to be the end of this video. Brigitte Macron met Emmanuel Macron when he was only 14 years old. Brigitte was 39 years old. Just the age, and you can look it up on the internet right now. They have a 25-year age gap. He's 47. Brigitte, I'm going to say that because I don't know if it's a he or she. Brigitte is 72 right now. And like I said, Emmanuel Macron can get a nice-looking woman. He ain't no bad-looking dude. No homo. He's a fairly young guy for politics. 47 is not old at all. Brigitte, if Brigitte is a real woman, Brigitte can't give him no more babies. So he has no kids. So when he dies, his legacy will die with him. And it's just weird to me. Like, why is a man, usually it goes the other way around. Usually older men like younger women. Like at 72, like her vagina ain't even lubricating itself anymore. Like, that's crazy to me. That don't make no sense. Like, what grown man? When he was 25, she was 50. If Brigitte is a she, it just doesn't make any sense. You have no world leaders in the world with this type of age gap with a much older woman. She's old enough to be his mother. Donald Trump and Melania have a 25-year age gap, but guess what? She's the younger one. That makes sense. She gave him a baby. Barron Trump was birthed by Melania. There's no denying that. That's Melania's child. And Barron Trump looks like his dad. He's like 6'5", 6'6". He's tall too. So that makes sense. But this relationship dynamic makes no sense whatsoever. And Candace Owens' husband, George Farmer, he's part of British royalty. He's filthy rich by birth. His dad is worth a lot of money, so he's worth a lot of money. Candace Owens don't even have to do this. She don't even have to do. She could stop podcasting tonight and be set for life because her husband is part of British royalty, right? And she's giving him 4 kids. She might not even be done birthing babies. She might have another one. George Farmer keeps her pregnant, so she clearly likes having his children, so she's good. And I don't know if she's going to slow down or not based on these alleged assassination threats, but I don't know why her husband is not more involved in protecting her. Maybe he's doing some stuff behind the scenes. Maybe he's just not a person that likes to be in the spotlight like Candace. I think Candace has a big ego, and she likes having the spotlight on her. That's why she does what she does. So I don't think that everything she does is simply because she wants to be a really good podcaster and a really good investigative journalist. I think Candace Owens does like the spotlight, and she's not always right, but she is right sometimes. She's probably right more than she's wrong. So y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm not going to say a whole lot more. I've already made the video 15 minutes, and I don't want to get back into the 25-30 minute time frame. So am I tripping? Is Candace Owens on the right path with this Brigitte Macron, Charlie Kirk, etc., etc.? We don't know what to believe. It's just so many lies that our government has told us and continues to tell us. And without further ado, I'm going to say peace. I'll catch up on the next video.